Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where civilization starts over. We're on episode 22 now, I think. And in the last video we saw many things happen, but the main event was the start of the Great European War that we see here. We also saw the third or second or fourth Japanese-Korean War, and the peace treaty was Korea got this island and they split this island. We also saw an UAE vote happen. That was if they should give independence to all colonies that they are left. So basically, these areas of North and South America and that of South America. And in this video, we'll be seeing this vote being completed and this war continuing. So yeah, let's get into the video. So start on the frontier with the Russian Union and Finland. We see the Russians have a major success capturing yet another major city before just pushing out and encircling a lot of Finnish troops. We then see Estonia here push up through and capturing this city before we see Finnish soldiers. But down here on the front with Poland, we see the Polish finally arrive and push the Estonians back, and they even capture this major city back and make a small invasion into Estonia. Over here we see the Romans just wipe out all these areas and continuing their way down this coast and starting the siege of the capital of this Yugoslavian nation. Over here we see Roman soldiers enter into Romania and even opening a tiny front into Poland, capturing one major city. And yeah, you can tell it's not going too good for the Diamond Lines right now. And we then see the Romans just spearhead right through Greece, and now it's basically game over as a Turkish landing happens over here, capturing this major city before they just pushed out, capturing the last major city, or the second last, as we see the Romans capture it, before we basically see the Turkish enter into the capital of Greece, taking it by force and then doing something like that. But they are not able to make a landing in Crete. Looking up here, we see that the Turkish are still moving throughout this nation over here, and they're planning to invade through this nation to get better access with their Romans. But that is just a plan, not anything confirmed. Up here we see Turkish soldiers enter into Romania now, after fighting or after resting a while, capturing one major city before going down and threatening the capital. We see the Caucasians do the same thing and invade into Romania here, invading a lot of these not populated areas in and around that. Before we also see them enter into Poland here and capturing this major city. And yeah, this war it's changing fast. But then we'll be looking over here at this Swedish area where we see something pretty big happen. We see the old South Swedish nation break free and declare their independence, and from both Finland and Norway, so we see them quickly invade through here the Norwegian areas, capturing a lot of land and meeting up with the border of Finland before making it like that, before we see them also start to move over here in the Finnish control areas of Sweden. And yeah, Finland was not prepared for this to happen, as they have thought that they have or secured these areas enough for an rebellion this big to not ever happen. But they were kind of wrong, as we now basically see a huge Swedish rebellion storm this area. And yeah, we even see this other nation that broke away from Sweden, or they used to be the Stockholm nation, but with the anyways, we see them invade into Finland here, capturing two major cities, for just doing something like this and making peace with the Swedish rebellion. Down here we see the rebellion or revolutionaries move into Norway here, and yeah, capturing this major city and this before we see them stop, as they now want to talk peace. But yeah, that's not happening at all. As we see Finland make another landing over here and invade into this area, taking it over completely. And also, yeah, they mean business now. So yeah, Finland has made a pretty big foot or holding in Stockholm here, as they have not surrendered yet, so that's good. Looking away from here, we'll be looking over at this area again, as we now see Nepal soldiers entered into this capital, leading to the complete surrendering of this nation. We also see this nation finally surrender, as now we see Turkish forces entering into Romania, and yeah, the Romanian people are not happy at all at that they're losing in war. That it's kind of one-sided now. The Tunisians were too strong in the end, and yes, if you didn't know, the Tunisians are in this war. They're basically the main provider. They haven't made any ground or landings or anything. They're just sending a bunch of their army into this war. So yeah, that's why probably these guys are doing so good. But anyways, we see the Romans also pushing into Poland before we see an unexpected nation join. This nation is the nation of Germany. They joined the side of the squares, as they now invade into Poland, seeking to get some revenge and even lost land, as Poland is basically the reason Germany is like this now. So they just explode into Poland here, capturing all of this land before also entering into the Norwegian Danish areas, capturing one major city and doing something like this. And yeah, but they get stopped when they reach this major city. And this war, it's starting to look like a square victory, as the Diamond Lions are starting to lose up here in the north. They are doomed to lose over here in the Balkan region. They have already lost over here. And yeah, the only main battle, or the only two main free nations that are fighting, is basically Poland, Finland, and Romania. But you see, I didn't say Norway. You know why? Because we see Norway exit the war and just fight peace with the Square Alliance, and they accept that. So yeah, even worse for the Diamond Lions now, as we just see Germans closing in on the Polish capital, and this is not going too good for the Romanians. So the Romanians decide to surrender over to the Turkish to try to survive, I guess. But now we even see Turkish soldiers entering into Poland, and now it's game over. The Turkish have made impressive land gains, as they are occupying a lot of land over here. Half of this nation, all this, yeah, it's impressive. So the Russians then make another breakthrough like that. They take over all of these areas. Hey, wait a second. Like that, yeah, boom. But we also see them break through over here in the Finnish areas, as we just see them storm through like that. But now we'll be looking away from here and over at another thing. So while that big European war has was going on. We saw in the last video a big vote happen that was deciding if they should give independence to all of these colonies in South America and North America. And the vote has now ended as it's yes. These areas shall now be gained independence, so let's take a look at that. And we see this being the finished product, I guess you could say. So this is the fully independent South America. Looking up here, we see the fully independent North America. We see a couple of big nations already, such as this nation, the Florida nation, and nice. So these guys, they're very same color rate. Let me see. Oh my god, no, that is too. Let me change you a bit, like that could work. Anyways, so this is the independent North America, and yeah. But we'll be seeing some of these nations join the UAE as well. So yeah, let's take a look at that. And there we go. Here's all the nations that join the UAE in North and South America. And we basically see the UAE have a lot of influence here. And yeah. Now let's talk about the strongest nation in North America. That could be interesting. So I would probably say it's between Florida and this nation. Now this nation has existed longer than Florida, but if we check like major cities, we see that this nation of course has more population. That's a big factor in war. But yeah, I think that Florida, these guys are probably the strongest nation in North America. But right after them we see Florida, then probably like uh, this nation maybe. Then after that nation, probably this Mexican. Then Florida. Oh my god. Anyways, looking away from there, we'll be looking at another thing, and it's over here. We'll see the creation of the new alliance. We see the creation of the Triangle Alliance. Now this is a very strong alliance and very big alliance, but it's mainly focused over here in Asia. It's not planning on like accepting Africa or other mainland European nations. But it's basically there to like protect nations. It's like an alliance made for everyone in Asia that feels like they could be attacked and taken over by another nation. So, and it's created by Australia, and yeah. Looking away from that, we'll be looking at the religion layer over here in North America. We'll see something happen. Right here, we see the creation of a new, like, religion, you could say. And it's going to of course be formed over here in the capital, and it's quickly going to spread, and the reason it does spread is because yeah, it's very popular, and it's basically here to unify the people or something like that. And when this religion is finished or done expanding, it will look something like this. And yeah, the Floridian religion has been formed. But I think that will be all for this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. I don't think this will be short, but if it is, then sorry, I guess. But at least we saw many things happen, such as the complete independence of America. But we still see Scotland have a colony over here. Now, how have they managed to have a colony despite the whole European continent being on fire and a UAE vote that is forced to be applied for every nation? Well, because I forgot about Scotland. I'm not joking. I just ignore that Scotland is controlling this area. And wait, this, no, it's the same color. But yeah, I just forgot Scotland owned this, but I guess they hold on to it because it's not that big. The people here want to stay in Scotland control, and Scotland gains a lot of money from this. So yeah. But anyways, that'll be all for this video. Bye bye.